We actually took that brand when it was doing just 75,000 rupees a month in Goa, and we took it almost to more than 55 lakhs a month sale in Goa. Good people, clean processes, and efficient technology to not only help but also work as internal controls. I think this is what can help a business grow. Any entrepreneur who is wanting to get into business should clearly look at a problem to solve, an aspiration to meet, and he should do a need gap analysis.
Welcome to the Profit 365 podcast, where India's visionary entrepreneurs reveal what it really takes to build a business that works without owner and scale profitably and leave a lasting legacy. Hi friends, my name is Dr. Samaar Kuncoliekar, founder of a Profit 365 business productivity coach and the creator of India's most trusted for the building ultra profitable self-operating business systems. Today, we have the guest at a real powerhouse. His journey from a family-run grocery store to managing over 70,000 SKUs in the building material and the construction chemical, not just inspiring, it's a proof that with the systems, values, and a vision, anything is possible. He's an academic gold medalist and disciplined business leader and a name synonymous with the growth, reliability, and excellence in the Goa's business community. Let's welcome the man behind Upgrade Enterprises Power Private Limited, a supply chain innovator, a system builder, and visionary entrepreneur, Mr. Praveen Kakode. Welcome, Praveen.
Thank you, Sumit.
Your family transitioned from a grocery store to a hardware and building material. How did these early experiences shape your business acumen?
See, actually, traditionally being in grocery, transition actually happened before I joined the business. So my father and his brother decided to went away, and over time we were having one hardware store. So that is the time when I joined. This was immediately after my 10th. But that is from where we said that we are the growth potential because of the construction was much more in the building material segment. So we decided to focus as the growth was much better.
Got it. Got it. So when you joined, it was already ready.
Yeah.
That your transition has already happened, and I believe you are the second generation. Am I right in your business?
In trading business, I'm the second generation.
Second.
Manufacturing, I'm the first generation.
Great. Earning the 3 gold medal during your PGDM at St. Joseph is a rare achievement. How has your academic excellence influenced your business strategies?
See, one caveat from my side, your academic excellence is very good. That is the knowledge you acquire. In business, what is required is of the knowledge you acquired, what can you implement? Because finally, if you have a machine gun, you don't know to use it. There is no use. So, frankly, if you ask me, academic knowledge gives you a perspective or the tools to look at business. But the real teacher in business is the markets actually. If you spend time with customer, it is the customer who teaches you maximum.
Got it. Got it. So it's more of the practical rather than waiting only with the academic, right? So it was you went in the market.
In a jest, I always say this. I'm a bigger fan of NI than AI. So natural intelligence is more important than artificial intelligence.
Great, great. Praveen, what inspired you to venture into the construction chemical sector with the Upgrade Enterprise as a new, totally shift from your traditional towards, you can say, startup company called as the Upgrade Enterprises?
So we have been in trading for almost 5 decades, and during these 5 decades, we have dealt with almost 35 to 40 brands, and some of them global leaders also for Goa. But my view was the fun of owning a brand, the pride of seeing your brand being used by somebody was a very different kind of achievement. This is one. And particularly one brand we're dealing, we actually took that brand when it was doing just 75,000 rupees a month in Goa, and we took it almost to more than 55 lakhs a month sale in Goa, and eventually the company got sold. Now what I realized is while we worked very hard to build a brand, the kind of profit that owner made by selling the brand was unusual. So my realization then was it is the real asset in the organization or the business is the brand, because finally buildings can be built, factories can be built. Now the loyalty or the trust a brand owns in the mind of the customer is the most invaluable thing. So I was very passionate that we should get into manufacturing because the fun of doing innovation, the fun of building a product, doing improvisation, and finally the kick of seeing your product being used on a site or this is a very different thing. So the passion was always that we should have our own brand, and that is why we decided to venture into manufacturing. I want to express my gratitude to Sri Vishwas Kinkreji, who was with Huntsman Heraldite, and he was one of the primary motivators who inspired me to get into manufacturing.
Fantastic, fantastic. From a trading, you move to the brand owner, right? That is the biggest transition you have done from your side. Great.
Yeah.
How do you manage the equilibrium between expanding product lines and maintaining the quality and customer satisfaction?
See, my perception on business is business always operates in orbits. So as you grow, whether it is your product line or your business scale, one of the primary importance is the kind of people you engage, the kind of organizational structure you put in place. Because a business which is done at 1 crore, the same cannot be done when it is 25 or 50 crores, because the number of customers, number of product will increase. So how do you build an infrastructure in terms of assets or people which can handle, nurture, and grow this is very, very different. So I think every entrepreneur should also keep questioning himself whether the bandwidth I built in the organization is potential enough to help me run faster, or is it holding me back. So I think as it is quite famously said, the learning, unlearning, and relearning as you grow the business has to continuously go on.
Great.
Business is never static.
Great. So it's basically learning, unlearning, and learning again to build the new capacity, new capabilities is a must.
Absolutely.
With such a strong dealer network in Goa, what were your key strategies to establish and grow this distribution channel?
See, there are two basic tenets I look at in terms of distribution. As a distributor, you are adding absolutely no value other than the fact that you are making the right quantity of material available at the right place at the right price. So you are not doing any value addition to the product per se. It is your service which you are doing. So one of the primary things I kept working on is how do I help my dealers cut down on their working capital.
Got it.
So we became very efficient in terms of delivering, where I told my dealers, instead of keeping 100 pieces of X product, you keep 2 pieces of 50 products. So we actually ran a slogan for quite a long time saying, Dukan aapka, godown hamara. So while he keeps very less stock, he knows I am keeping sufficient stock. So the other part was I was looking at competition. And for me, competition was always Bombay, Kolhapur, all these places where people put material on the bus and the next day it comes. So now if I have to really compete with them, then your speed of delivery has to be equal or better than them.
Correct.
So I feel for businesses to become competitive, you should do benchmarking and review your benchmarks and scale it up as it grows. That is the only way you can grow. We have a brand name which I am particularly very fond of, and I live by that name. That is upgrade. I have built it into the DNA that we have to continuously work to upgrade.
True. Yeah. Fantastic. I like the idea, and I like the idea of keeping your company name itself is an upgrade, which is a massive transformative purpose, and that is what you are looking. Great. Congratulations.
I call it as a permanently contemporary brand.
Great. As upgrade expanded, what were the key challenges you face in scaling operations, and how did you overcome them?
See, it is not fair for me to say I have been able to overcome everything. But key challenges, I think all the businesses, particularly MSMEs, faces people. Attracting top talent, retaining is very challenging because the scale at which you operate compared to the maybe bigger players, bigger cities is sometimes not possible. So the counter for that, what we do is we have a lot of homegrown talent. So we take people with unusual background. I have a couple of people who are uneducated, who have been trained internally.
Got it.
So the loyalty also is more because we have somewhere been instrumental in taking them to the next level. Other than that, the challenge which is not possible to counter in my trade, in India, sometimes being ethical is a big challenge because this trade is infested with cash business, without bill business, under invoicing, invoice selling. Now, for a company like mine, which does not indulge in all these things, but that's a conscious decision one has to make. What is it that you don't want to do? my father has given me a very invaluable principle which I love. He says, when you sleep at night, there should be absolutely no load on your conscience, right? So don't indulge or do things which will give you sleepless nights.
Great.
I think that is a big competitive factor. When you're happy, you perform better.
Exactly. Exactly. Fantastic. I like the idea, and I like the building a business with the values, which is the most important and which takes, I will
It
say,
is difficult but not impossible.
yeah, yeah. And it takes you to the long term, and exactly it get penetrate in your organization also.
Yeah.
Now, Praveen, what role has technology played in streamlining your supply chain and distribution processes?
So, from the point where I started, where particularly distribution was started by myself, because when I joined, we had a one retail outlet, and I used to go take a order, come back, make the bill, go deliver myself, come back, go collect money. From that point, one thing I realized is, unless I streamline processes, unless I put people who can replace me, and unless I have systems which can control this, it will not work. Now, it did not evolve as clean and straight as I'm talking, but over time, as and how we realized, if I look back and connect the dots, I feel there are three tenets to growing a business in a sizable way. There is people, there is process, and there is technology. Good people, clean processes, and efficient technology to not only help but also work as internal controls. I think this is what can help a business grow. Now with AI coming, automation coming, we are also exploring a lot of processes which are we have implemented a ERP. We are looking at how to automate certain processes. We are looking at something like a Power BI, which is giving insights. Now, unless you adopt and look at, I call this as catalysts. Technology typically works as a leveraging catalyst. So unless you adopt, you are not getting the longer term view in a different way. You get a lot of insights. Your cost efficiency comes. Now, unless you use these levers, I feel forget growing. Sustainability itself will not remain in the near future.
Got it. Got it. You have built a team that supported a rapid growth. And how did you cultivate such a high performing team?
See, team again is a continuous evolution process. I think in my tenure of almost 30 years that I'm working, there are different people who have come, and I want to give them the credit and I have gratitude for them. Even those people who have left us, because they have meaningfully contributed when they were here. So, unlike what is generally made out that the entrepreneur is a superhero, I think that is a complete lie. Business is particularly, according to me, a team sport. So unless you are engaging team and you are finding people who are complementary and people who compensate for your weaknesses, as an entrepreneur, one of the first things I think I should know is what am I not good at? Who do I get on board? Who can compensate me for that weakness? And I think we should be candid about this. Now, as far as building a team is concerned, what is required? You need to be fair, you need to be transparent, especially for high performers. If you want to retain, you need to continuously challenge them with opportunities and challenges. And frankly, to build a team, you need to learn to wear different hats at different times. You can't have one size fit all for the entire team. For somebody, money motivates, somebody, recognition motivates. Then there are people I have seen, I in a funny way call it dento bag. Because what I have seen is some people who have worked in other companies, they are used to getting fired every day by the boss.
Yeah.
And frankly, I can't work with such people because I work with a lot of respect and I work with logic. But I have had one or two people where I have jokingly asked them that I said, I know you can't work without Dento bag. So I've made them aware, and over a period of time, some of them have turned around because unfortunately, in many organizations, including the so-called great organization which wins awards and all those, The culture is third rate. People are used as doormats. People are humiliated all the time. I can very proudly say that at Upgrade, we are a very people friendly company. We love our people. And I think if there is one asset which is priceless to me, it is my people.
Great, great, fantastic.
See, again, to build a team, your team has to be convinced that you are genuinely interested in them. The moment that trust factor is there, they will do anything for you.
Great, great, fantastic. It's a big principle what you have disclosed is to being interested in them and in their growth, and definitely they put their heart and effort to make it happen. Great. Now, Upgrade emphasizes research and innovation. Could you share how this focus led to cultivate cutting edge solution in the construction industry?
See, I will answer this slightly differently. I am again coming to the fact that the center point of any business should be only one person, that is the customer.
Great.
Now, if everything revolves around that customer, because he is the one who will pay for it, you have to figure out what is he willing to pay for, what is he willing to pay for regularly, what is he willing to pay more for. Now, customer, as per me, buys only for three reasons. Either he has a pain point, either he has a need, or he has an aspiration. Now, if you are able to solve his problem, or if you are able to meet his aspiration, he is willing to pay you a little extra. So I think the root of any innovation or growth lies in your humble observation of customer insights.
Got it. Got it.
So
So,
I think constantly engaging with customer, listening to his problems, discussing his aspirations, I think that is where all the answers lie actually.
great. Great. So basically, customer first is the principle what you follow for when you come to the research and
Yeah, because
development.
end of the day, what is business? Unless you have somebody willing to pay you for something,
Yeah,
I don't think there is a business.
correct. Correct. Now, Praveen, in the crowded market, how do you differentiate Upgrade from the other players?
So differentiation, according to me, happens only at two places. Either you have a differentiated product or you are a price leader. Now, at a scale at which we operate, price leader is not possible because there are large giants who are operating globally and buying in bulk. So we go by the principle of differentiation. For a MSME, according to me, what makes sense is you have to identify niches which large companies are not interested in, or it is too small a niche for him to operate. So, for example, if there is a problem which is worth, say, uh, 10 crores a year in India, a MNC might not be interested because it is too small for them to address. But for a small company like me, because of the size, it is a interesting, there is better margin, and customer also values you because the other guys are not serving him there.
Correct.
So that
Correct.
is you have to. It is like in cricket. You have to see where the gap in the fielding is and score from there.
Fantastic. I like your idea of how you are explaining that finding a gap in the market and playing
Correct.
over there. And that is
So
where the
there is a very
survival of the
famous
MSME remains. Great.
concept. You have to find the gap in the market and the market in the gap.
Okay.
So first you find what is the gap and see what is the size of the market in that and design your product around that customer who will be willing to pay a premium for that.
Fantastic. 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 Great. Now, Praveen, sustainability is a big topic today, and how the upgrade is addressing the environment concerns and integrating sustainability into its operations.
See, I think sustainability is a oversold marketing gimmick rather than real practical this. Uh, while government regulations are definitely coming in and for the good, there is more and more water-based technology which might come or environment-friendly measures might come. I think pollution control is playing a wonderful supportive role by saying keeping a deep check on discharges or effluents and all those things. But I think more than that, whether it is an industry or an individual, there should be a deep rooted ownership of that sustainability more than a marketing gimmick. I'll give you a simple personal example which I will share. I'm deviating a little bit. So, for example, if I go to a restaurant, at home when I eat food, I will eat in only one plate. But in a five-star, for that same food, I will use five plates.
Correct.
So I have, for example, written a post on LinkedIn which says one meal, one plate. I go to a restaurant, I will eat my entire meal in only one plate. Now, keeping that philosophy in mind, we do have some large customers who buy material and they prefer to reuse the packaging.
Okay.
So that saves a lot of packaging wastage. We are very conscious in the small bits, and more than a general this, it is a philosophy at upgrade that whatever way we can cut our carbon footprint or whatever way we can be conscious. I think it is more of a way of living rather than a specific program or a specific post which can be put on LinkedIn. I think whether it is an industry or an individual, we have only one planet, and it is better we understand that we need to preserve it if we want to sustain on this.
Correct. Correct. Great. Great. Praveen, at what point did upgrade became the profitable, and what were the pivotal decision that led to success? I mean to say when it was a highly profitable, when we realized that we are achieving our benchmarks in profits.
See, frankly, upgrade the way the company philosophy is, we are constantly evolving. So we do not rest on laurels and say this is most profitable, this is most loss. We are continuously investing, we are adding product lines, we are developing. So we definitely plow back and invest and continuously invest in expanding. We continuously add product lines. Now, while there is profit, we are reinvesting. So in that sense, decisions you have to make is where which kind of customer you want to operate in and what kind of product lines. So if you pay attention to something called as a value volume matrix, where you choose not to operate in products which contribute lesser than certain amount, I feel the answer to success in business lies more in the no's than the yeses. So you need to pick and choose. While you will address all customers who come to you, you make conscious effort to sell or work on certain things which will create more sustainable, profitable growth. So, being mindful and putting the intention to work on those things, which will not only create a moat for your business, which will help you, build long lifetime value customers. I think that is what where your business grows better.
Great, great. So in short, what I understand is that continuously taking decision, having the watch on the value and volume, and deciding where to play is the most important. Am I right?
It
Rather
is
than
where to play, how to win.
yeah, great, 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 great. Um, you are known for the ensuring the timely payment to the both vendors and employees. And how has this financial discipline shaped your brand's reputation?
I think this credit predominantly goes to my father. I would like to really, not that I'm trying to play a humble card or something. I think my father has been instrumental in putting some very strong value system in this organization, where by and large we believe no customer should visit, no supplier should visit us for one payment two times. Second, we are also conscious of the fact that our employees work hard the full month and they have their own budgets where they have their installments, EMIs, their household expenses, and all. So I think in business, the larger noise is always made on profits. I think I would put the first garland, if I have to put it to a god, I would call the god as liquidity rather than profitability. Because I have seen couple of known people who have been very profitable, but they have gone down under because they did not manage the liquidity well.
Got it.
Having some bad oil in the bike is better than having no oil in the bike.
Great, great. Praveen, could you share a significant challenge in the upgrade phase and the lesson you learned from it?
See, along the way, I define challenges as opportunities. It is how you, the lens with which you look at things, right? I'll give you a very simple case. I built the factory, and within a year or two, we had fire at the factory where the factory gutted down.
Oh,
Okay, and I have said that same evening, placed orders, and it was business as usual. The next day, the decision we took was we will build a larger factory.
oh,
I somewhere had read about Edison and his plant undergoing fire, and I remembered it. He said there is a guy who put a hand around his shoulder and asked him, "You must be very upset. The plant has burned down." He said, "No, I know all the mistakes which were there in the old plant. I'll build a better one." So see, I have a very simple philosophy of my life: change what you can, accept what you can't. So if there is something which happens, if you can change it, change it. If you can't change it, accept it, move on.
great,
You should be very cautious about how you use your mind space.
great.
This is the most expensive real estate we have. So no faltu tenants in the real estate.
Great, great, great. That exactly was my the same question, but you have answered it in advance. But still, I will ask you, Praveen, reflecting on your entire journey, what belief about about your business you have that is developed and that is actually helping you right now?
See, I feel to this day, when I come to office, I'm learning every day. So if you ask me what is one learning, I think having an open mind, being practical, and working hard on yourself.
Okay,
We are working on, I'm very fond of one particular statue. We will be revealing within a 1 month. We are doing something for the organization. I'll give you a slight insight into it. It is basically being obsessed with improving yourself. Now, for example, as a business leader, if I have to change the performance of the organization, the moment I work and improve my effectiveness, whether it is to coach people, whether it is to hold them accountable, or whether it is to empower, but it boils down to me. So, how do I continuously work? Because the same Praveen who could manage 4 people cannot manage 140 people.
correct.
So that mindfulness, that along with business, you as a person needs to evolve. You need to upgrade. So I think constant upgrade, constant working on yourself is the only mantra I feel which can take you places.
Great, great, great. Remember the quote: the speed of a engine is the speed of a train, and that is where the leadership and the continuous learning, evolving,
Absolutely.
yeah, that makes a difference. Great, fantastic.
But I'll add there.
Uh,
Fortunately for me, I have some people in my team who are faster than me. So we are not double, but we are triple 4 engine Sarkar here.
fantastic, fantastic. And that every all our audience should look at this point is to hiring the best talent better than us will make our company better than what
So
we can.
I'll add to this. See, if you ask me, uh, what works best for me is something called as a distributed leadership.
Okay,
This phenomena of single leadership, I don't think works because in your team you always have experts in different topics, and as a leader you should have humility to accept that on a particular topic somebody is better than you, and for that topic discussion you should accept him as your leader.
great,
I think if you are candid enough to know where your strengths and weaknesses are, you are mindful, and you are willing to listen to people where it matters. Because finally, if you are a football team, The goalkeeper, defender, midfielder, and forward each has a different role. Now, if the goalkeeper says, I am the leader and I will score the goal, it will not work. So, I am a believer of distributed leadership.
Fantastic, fantastic. This is something new which I have learned from you. Distributed leadership, and it's fantastic. And I can see it's a practically working for you as well as the
Yeah,
major
so
organization.
while you could be the umbrella leader, where in case of a dilemma you take the final call, but whose opinion do you give weightage for which topic?
Hmm.
He is your leader for that.
Great, 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 great. Now, Praveen, here is a question for you. Where do you envision upgrade enterprises in the next 10 years? Are there plans to integrate emerging technologies like AI or IOTA, where you are building like a tech company using the platform what you have built, something like that?
So upgrade, we are working on something very exciting right now, where again we have absolutely kept customer at the center of it. We are in the process of mapping his journey while constructing a house or maintaining it, and we are building something internally which will handle that customer and make his life very easy.
Okay,
What we have realized is customer per se is not interested in our product. He is interested in his problem or his aspiration. Now, keeping that as a north light, at Upgrade, we are figuring out how can we reorganize or how can we orchestrate a process where we engage with him at multiple levels, whereby instead of being a frustrated journey of building a house, we shadow him and make it a very joyful journey.
fantastic, fantastic. And I believe it is a need of the today because when we want to build house, we have to do so many. It's like a, itself, it's a big project, and many times we waste a lot of money also in unwanted things. But if some technology or some solution available where we can actually do it faster, better, and for a long lasting, definitely people will like to be part of it. Now here is
The
a, what kind
biggest
of impact? Yeah, please continue.
the
Please continue.
biggest problem in building material applications, particularly today, is reliability. Whether it is quality, whether it is price, or whether it is timeliness. Take a simple case. You have a tap leaking at home. You want a plumber, or you have some carpentry small job to be done. So, what we are realizing is the customer is getting frustrated. He is taken for a ride. So, we don't have a ready solution, but we are kind of experimenting, and the initial response to the experiment has been fantastic.
Okay.
And we are obsessed with the customer, obviously. So we definitely will come up with certain ideas in the next a year or so, where the only thing I can share with you right now is we might be simply launching a helpline to begin with.
Okay.
So if customer has any information or knowledge he wants, we can at least for now connect him to the right people.
Fantastic. That will be the great help to the Goans, especially being a small state, but still we don't have the manpower. Even if it's available, it's not connected to us. So that is why we are at mercy of those who are available. Great, fantastic. Now, what kind of impact do you hope upgrade leaves on the industry and society?
See, at Upgrade, for us, very simple thing is to be fair, transparent, and as I kept repeating, ideally, we have to solve the customer problem. So we want to be remembered in the industry, somebody who is my preferred person to go to, whether it is material, services, or whatever, where I can trust this person to solve it at a fair price in a timely manner for a good quality.
Got
See, I again believe business like building material is a very common sense business. You don't need any rocket science knowledge of this. There is a customer who is building or maintaining his house. How can you engage with him in a polite manner, do his job on time, do it good quality at a reasonable price? I don't think he wants anything more than that.
Got it.
Unfortunately, businesses are becoming about big jargon, lot of drama. But I feel for a good business to survive and thrive, doing the fundamental basics on a consistent basis is what builds a strong business.
Great, great, fantastic. Uh, Now, what advice would you offer to individual looking to start and scale a business? Maybe it's manufacturing, maybe the trading, maybe the your dealership. Okay, what advice would you like to give to them?
So, if anybody wants to start business, there are two parameters which are critical. You should know the customer or you should know the product. Between the two, ideally he knows the customer, because if he knows the customer and he knows who is the guy who wants to buy and what is he willing to pay for, finding suppliers is easier job. Second, between manufacturing and trading, I feel if anybody wants to really start manufacturing, he should start with trading, test the waters. If it goes well, then go back to manufacturing, because manufacturing, the moment you put a plant, you have a operating cost, depreciation sitting on your head.
Hmm.
Whereas if you start with trading and you have brought say 5 lakhs of material, you can maybe discount it and sell it off and get out of it.
Correct.
So I am a strong believer that if you want to do business, test water. First and foremost, do a market research, validate your thoughts, do some test marketing, reinforce that. And once you are convinced, build a team which can meaningfully deliver that value proposition, which will help you sustain and scale.
Got it. Got it. Great. Now, Praveen, what habits or routines contribute most to your effectiveness as a business leader?
See, I want to repeat this. Uh, I feel this business which has been built, I cannot take full credit for, because there are a lot of people who have contributed meaningfully. Okay, and what habits or what I want to work on is, see, I have a strong belief that unless there is clarity of plan, there is a management philosophy which says for every yes you have to say six no's. If you say yes to everything, you are dispersing your resources where effectiveness is not there. So I think focus, consistent effort, and timely reviews and checks to see that you are charting your path in the right way. This basic is very, very critical.
Great. Great. Fantastic.
Most critical is having the right kind of team. One of the biggest follies why entrepreneurs don't grow is they want to do everything themselves. In Konkani, if I may say, Apono Chano. This is the biggest killer of businesses. That's the problem.
Great. Great. Lot of people get shy away from their own company, and that is the main reason where they fail it. But I can see that you are wearing the nice t-shirt with your upgrade brand on it. Can you enlighten on it, and what is the purpose behind it?
So I think there cannot be a better opportunity than you wearing your brand. Because if you don't market your brand, who else will do it? At Upgrade, we have a philosophy that whether it is my office staff who serves the tea or me, we wear the same quality t-shirt. I will always come to office wearing that same uniform as my staff does. And I think that gives all of us a sense of belonging to the same team.
Fantastic.
So we have a very open door policy at Upgrade, and this kind of emphasizes that fact that it is so.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Now I can see this is what we have heard from the big company, but we don't see normally happening in Goa. And you are the one of the example who has said who is leaving, but what you say. And I really appreciate you focusing on it and educating our audience about it.
I'll just like to add, particularly when I wear this t-shirt every day, I ask myself what is it that I am trying to upgrade. So I live my life with a very challenging brand.
Fantastic, fantastic. Nothing like that. Praveen, have you been any books, mentors, or turning points that has profoundly influenced you as an entrepreneur journey?
So I feel I am kind of 180 degrees from where I started. I'll narrate one or two things to you to drive home the point. See, I believe I'm continuously evolving. My thought processes, my beliefs, that unlearning, learning, unlearning, relearning is a inbound process for me. It's a very well defined process for me where I will keep changing, and I admit that very openly because as your exposure increases, you have more realizations, and that's how it is. So, for example, in my MBA college, I did marketing and finance, and I used to hate HR. Today, if you ask me, I feel people is the most important subject. Second, during my early days, I used to strongly believe that ideas is the most critical thing. Today, if you ask me, excellence in execution is the most critical thing. So I typically give a very interesting example of this. So if you look at biryani, the salt is the idea, execution is the biryani. While you can eat a biryani without the salt, if there is no great idea and execution is excellent, still that business might survive and operate. But can you only eat salt as the biryani? Absolutely not.
Not.
So while a good idea is good, I feel it contributes hardly 1% to the whole process. And that is 180-degree change of view that I have. And
Great.
I am very open. One of the important things I feel is being very candid and honest what you feel. And most importantly, honest to yourself. Entrepreneurs tell a lot of lies to themselves. Oh no, I did this, but because of environment it didn't happen. That fellow did this fellow. This is all nonsense. Most of the time, I have failed because there were some shortcomings in me. And I decided to work on it. So I think if that attitude is adopted, we will progress better.
Right. Right. I just like to add one story. Last night happened. One of the entrepreneur from Penjing has messaged me saying that today I realized I'm losing business because of two things. One is because I've lost hunger, and second, my ego is killing me. It's not allowing me to expand a business. And I said, congratulations, you achieved your first part. That you
Correct.
at least awareness has come. Now it's a journey is easy. And he said appreciated that. You know. Fantastic.
Uh,
So here is the last question, second last question I will say. Do you live by any guiding principles or mantras, both in the personal and professional life?
I think my by and large guiding mantras are you have to be mindful what you're doing and continuous learning. I think common sense is something I strongly believe in, being very practical with what is happening, which is mindfulness. And as per situation, keep learning, keep improving. Because the way the world we are living in, we have to keep evolving. Because if we stay static, I feel we'll just vanish. I love one quote by Andy Group. He says, only the paranoid will survive. So, unless we are hungry to improve ourselves, so if you are playing gully cricket and you work very hard in the nets, you will go to district. You continue to work harder, you will go to state. And if you work even harder, then maybe you might go national. So I think I look at outcomes as internalizing and working on yourself, nothing more.
Fantastic. Super. And finally, if the podcast reaches the 1 lakh aspiring entrepreneurs across the India, what is the one message you want them to take away from your journey?
I like to add one more thing here. See, this concept of startup is being constantly spoken of. I feel there are a lot of small businesses which are up for sale.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, again, I'll come to a biryani example where one is you are cooking fresh biryani, and second, there is a biryani available but little bit salt is missing. Now, adding salt and preparing that biryani is a much easier job because all the hard work is already done.
Correct.
So I would at least want to bring attention to the businesses where maybe some owner is retiring, some owner's kid is not interested in the business. And while all of us are gung-ho about this IT and modern age businesses, I think roti kapda makan, which is the basic requirement of everybody. So I feel any entrepreneur who is wanting to get into business should clearly look at a problem to solve, a aspiration to meet, and he should do a need gap analysis. If there is a need in the society, is that not being served, and how can I solve it for a profit on a sustainable basis? So one of the mantras I believe entrepreneurs should always look at it: is my idea able to fulfill the rule of sustainable profitable growth? If that works, then it is a business to be in. One. Second, entrepreneurs by and large believe that they have to work and work and work, right? What is missing, I feel, is that awareness that if he had worked in the industry, what package he would have got. And most of the time, he doesn't pay himself.
Yeah,
So, if you want to really calculate profit in business, it should be after paying your salary.
got it.
Otherwise, it is like what government gives as subsidy. You are giving subsidy to your business.
So in another way, you should be charging rightly to your company, so they are paying
Absolutely.
according to thing. And then what remains after that is a profit. And this is a
Correct.
great lesson what we have learned. Thank you, Praveen sir. We have come to the end of the our podcast. It's a really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible journey, values, and wisdom with us today. Your
Samir,
story, your story is a yeah. Please.
I just like to add one of the thoughts I come to office every day is I am beginning my journey from today.
Wow.
So I will like to at least state that what journey is covered has to be forgotten. So no
Every day
rear
is a fresh start.
आज से शुरू है
Superb, superb.
and you have to work with moving target. Sorry to interrupt you.
No, fantastic. It was a very enlightening, and I will say it's a punch of this today's podcast. You know, to start afresh every day, and whatever we have done is past. Do not carry the baggage of old what you have done. It's done and gone. Restart, rediscover yourself, relearn, and start your journey. Fantastic. Your story is a shining example. What's possible when tradition meets innovation and when discipline meets vision. To our listener, if you are in construction, retail, and looking forward to reliable, innovative partner in building material or in construction chemical, personally, I encourage you to connect with the Upgrade Enterprises, Mr. Praveen, and I believe definitely will help you to take your business to the next level. Thank you, Praveen, for giving your valuable times and everything. Thank you so much, and thank you so much.